Sounds about right.
Sounds fucking bang on, mate. What an intro. I might call it. Actually, some would. A lot would.
100% they would.
An absolute masterpiece.
Thank you, mate. It's just a little something that, I was whipping up when might have had a weekend to myself and got a bit bored or something.
Mate, when I have a weekend to myself, I get up to very different things. Mate, you're certainly the brains behind the podcast. I'm happy to be the beauty.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have it any other way, I just like getting on the tools every now and then and, doing my best.
Mate, what an off-season.
Jesus freaking Christ.
It seems like only yesterday Star Tonte's finally got the chockies in the last Group 1 of the season.
Don't remind me.
And we're back for the Winx Stakes and a new season of racing. There's been a lot going on in the meantime in our lives and obviously in the podcast life as well.
Well, absolutely. I think we should just do some housekeeping off the top. You'll see this season I'll be, and I'd say you might be doing the same thing, but fingering my phone a little bit more because we're no longer recording off our phones because we've upgraded the cameras. Now, we're still working them out, as you might have seen with the Mitchell Swepson interview. Video wasn't up to, it was good, but it wasn't, cinema quality, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh, yeah, we're getting there. And, we're a work in progress, and you can probably tell that from how slow incremental improvement from season to season. What number season is this?
Season 5, bruh.
Season 5. Most good shows don't even make it to season 5, mate. They get cancelled.
Well, you're 100% right. So this is season 5, episode 92. So we're in the nervous 90s, bruh.
Sheesh, mate, we'll get to the ton. Don't you worry about that, Drifters. There's plenty more where this came from.
2 years. 2 years this podcast has been around for. I think our first ever episode or first week that we covered was the PB Lawrence Stakes, which was last weekend. Don't know why we didn't do a Group 1 to kick things off. I think we were just like a little bit nervous and just did it anyway.
Well, mate, all it was you just said, hey, I've got all this shit. Do you want to just record? And we just recorded.
And then we finished it and we're like, gee, that was fun.
That was loads of fun.
So 2 years later, 91 episodes later, bang.
Here we are. And, thanks to all the drifters who've come along for the journey. And there's been a few others come along for the journey as well.
I would have thought. And, drifters emerging and, who are not yet across this podcast. We welcome them after they discover us and then listen back to our back catalogue because it is sizable as aforementioned.
It is sizable. And look, you'd have to sift through a few of them to find some winners that we've picked. So
well said.
Good luck with that.
Well said. Mate, well, I think that's the equipment, season 5, all that good stuff, housekeeping. You might have some news to share.
Drifters, I finally lost my virginity.
What a guy. Yeah. Congrats.
And believe it or not, it only took me one time, but I'm actually pregnant as well. So it feels pretty special. I proposed to my lovely, now fiance, week and a half ago.
Bang.
Bang.
That's what you love to see.
And look, I'll toot my own horn a little bit here, Drifters, in a couple ways.
Okay.
So, I'm not one to go into a lot of detail with this sort of stuff, like private life. And, I wouldn't say I'm the most romantic guy, but, we had...
You have your moments.
Yeah, we had our own private sort of cabin out in the Gold Coast hinterlands, overlooking the beautiful mountains and valleys. It was sunset. We had a fire going, a cheese board, and that's when I did it. And,
Vibes were high.
Vibes were high. She said yes, which was good.
It's always a bonus, bro.
But I tell you what, as soon as I pulled up at the place, Drifters, I was just like, oh, fuck yeah, this is the place. And look, and again, toot my own horn, a good sizable chunk of the engagement ring was actually funded by last season.
Well done. And well done to this podcast.
Yeah. Sheesh. It's a win-win for all. So, yeah, it was, very, very exciting times.
No, it's been a hell of a week and a half of celebrations, mate. I'm so stoked for you and G, so congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Was she swooned? How was G's reaction?
Actually, one of the first things out of her mouth was, "Oh, you sneaky fucker." Well, at least it wasn't a C-U-N-T that came out of her mouth. No, yeah, she was surprised, which after going out for so long, you probably just took her by surprise because maybe she never expected it at all. But no, look, it was good. It couldn't have worked out better. Very, very, very stoked, and I'm happy she's happy. The ring fits, so
Well, mate, I feel like you just you're just ticking boxes now.
Yeah, and look, I don't tick as many boxes as our great mate Matt Dolan, aka Dolab, he's a guy he sees life as a bunch of boxes and he just slowly goes through and ticks them because he's not getting green ticks anywhere else. That's for sure. That's
for damn sure. You've never met a man. You know what's hilarious, and I keep forgetting this each time, but early on in the spring calendar or the autumn, on fire.
So he is, he starts off with a bang.
When, no one wins premierships in May, mate.
Of course not.
No.
Of course they don't.
He doesn't get it.
No. Yeah. Matt Dolan just doesn't understand horse racing. He's going to hate us for that. But look, I think he'd probably partially agree.
I think he would agree. But hey, he understands off-season horse racing.
Yeah,
he's backing horses that I feel like he doesn't overthink it because he doesn't necessarily know the form lines, and then it's like, oh, he just sees a spreadsheet, he puts 2 and 2 together, and he goes like, and then he gets a result.
yeah, without a doubt. He's got the axis lined up. He's got the X and Y axis, and he's just picked a point on it, and that's where it intersects.
Bang.
Were it so easy for the rest of us?
No. Oh, God, no. I can guarantee you here and now that I'll be dog shit the first month of tipping here. It will take me a few weeks to find a winner. I guarantee you that. So
yeah, without a doubt, we'll be a bit rusty, and if we can find some pretty early doors, we'll be lucky. But what are you most looking forward to for the upcoming spring carnival, mate? Putting you on the spot.
Oh, it's favourite race day is coming up, Derby Day. Did me dirty last year, so it's a genuine redemption arc for me this year.
Zuko out of Avatar redemption arc, perhaps.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, mate. For those drifters listening, Avatar: The Last Airbender. For those who've watched it, the Zuko storyline, one of the greatest redemption arcs ever. Anyway, continue.
Sure. So yeah, obviously it'll be a new look Derby Day this year because of the Champions Day the week after.
Yes, it will be.
So the Cantala is Varlave to the Cantala.
I liked the Cantala as well. It's a shame.
So did I. I thought it was a bloody good race. But the Champions Mile, which is virtually the McKinnon, there's going to be 2 fields of about 7. So yeah, Champions Day not for me. But yeah, obviously the other big hitters, Everest, can't wait.
Shush.
Who's going to beat Nature Strip, mate?
Oh, unless something comes out of the woodwork, or unless something improves drastically this season. No, nothing.
Yeah. And then it's always interesting to see how the 2-year-olds mature into 3-year-olds.
Mature, yeah, true. Got my eye on a few for the spring that I like. That's for sure. And towards the back end of the spring, we might see a lightly weighted 3-year-old in the Cox Plate, or the Melbourne Cup, or the Melbourne Cup. Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay. I like it. All right, question without notice. Horse that you're most excited to see throughout the spring?
Oh, that's a really good question, and there's a lot that I'm really keen to see. I'll stick to the 3-year-olds because there'll be some coming through. Fireburn's an obvious one, but I'm really keen to see how the Colts go, more so than the Phillies. We know the Phillies are better as it stands right now, but with natural improvement, like a best of Bordeaux or a Sir Jardin, I think, I'd be really keen to see how they go.
I reckon best of Bordeaux might run the Everest.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
I reckon he could run the Everest and then go just dominate the Coolmore like Home Affairs did last year.
Yeah, well, that could be a pattern that sort of starts to form in the coming years. What was it that Home Affairs won when he was resuming? It was a Group 2 before he went into the Everest. Can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, can't remember. For me, Elation. That horse was absolutely dominating. And the formula stuck up around it. So I think that horse has the Golden Eagle written all over it. And Price Kent Jr., they are just absolutely flying.
They're flying, mate. Well, speaking of Elation, they could follow the same sort of path that they did with I'm Thunderstruck, put him into the Sir Rupert Clark, lightly weighted, run really well there, kick on.
Why not?
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not. You know,
I couldn't agree more.
I'm Thunderstruck went Sir Rupert Clark into a 2-rack, into a Golden Eagle.
Yes,
I feel like there might have been one after
He ran
that.
third in a Sir Rupert Clark, and then he won the 2-rack with a big Bales ride from
Jai.
I was having some fighting words regarding Jai last weekend, wasn't I?
Didn't really understand. I did understand it, but I'm a Jai guy.
Oh, you know, I just sometimes just get on a bit of a roll, you know. It's like, you know.
All right. We witnessed this at the Crown. Did you realise that the Crown actually had a facelift recently?
Believe it or not, Drifters, the Crown's in Lutwich has recently been renovated, yeah.
Unbelievable. But we were there with our great mate Bradley Weston, who will definitely get a feature this season on the podcast or potentially on some Saturdays years to come. About Hugh Bowman's ride.
Gosh, it was a filthy ride from naughty boy Hugh.
Oh, my goodness. So I've been a Hugh defender in recent months, but that was one of his worst of all time.
Horrific. And the stewards, rightly so, had a word with Hughie post-race and they found nothing to sort of penalise him for.
Shock.
But that was just a disgusting display of horsemanship on Frumos. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I was in disbelief.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who else was in disbelief? Bradley Weston was right beside us.
The second the race finished, actually, I think he already had. He could already see Frumos being boxed in, and he's punching away his dad Darren's number.
So a furlong to go.
Yeah, he's already on the blower to his dad. It's been like, "What the fuck was Hugh Bowman thinking?" And you could hear through the other side of the phone. You could hear this. What a fucking terrible ride I was. And they were just going at it. We were just like, holy dooly.
But I didn't even have a cent on. And I'm still furious. It's like, mate, you're just talking about an off-season, undefeated mare who, honestly, it was like a benchmark 78 or something. It was hilarious.
Don't get me wrong, her win prior to that looked really good, but the time on the clock wasn't that great. So
who's she beating, mate?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's she beating?
Exactly. Look at us all high and mighty, which like the podcast is back with some sort of authorities on racing.
I know.
Look out.
It was funny. Have you been keeping across like the horse racing game in the off season?
I certainly have, mate. A lot more so than what I typically do. There's a couple out of the off season who I think can play a part in this spring, but nothing that sort of really stands out. There's people talking about Mr. Brightside being a Cox Plate horse. Oh.
Oh my God. Shots fired there.
Oh my God.
He's a pretty good horse. He's only.
Mate, don't get me wrong. Weight for age horse? I think yes. Mm-hmm. Weight for age, best weight for age race in Australia horse.
World.
Yeah, world. Tell your story, walking pretenders. Fucking hell. Mr. Brightside.
Yeah. Don't make those.
Letting me go. I just can't look. It's killing me.
I saw a video on Twitter about that song, and it was basically like the start, like going out of my
Yeah.
So that right. So it was just like the track going like that, and then when he started singing, it changed to Jerry Seinfeld.
What?
So it's basically like it's just like, oh, that sounds like Jerry, and I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, I can kind of see it, but it's not that hectic. So, old mate, what's his first name? Flowers.
Oh, Brandon
Flowers.
he sounds like Jerry Seinfeld when he sings.
Apparently.
I thought you meant like it was going to come up with a Seinfeld theme song like
No.
But anyway,
No.
we can digress.
We can.
A couple of blokes who digress regularly. You're a big digresser.
I am.
As am I.
I have a question to ask you.
Yep.
How versatile is the material of corduroy?
Incredibly so. We're talking trousers, shorts, not t-shirts. That would be weird. Button up, play on, jackets, play on,
layering,
Yep.
layering pieces.
Yep.
Undies.
Wouldn't have thought so. Maybe, perhaps.
Like a reusable nappy. You know what I mean?
Look, what corduroys, and these have come to the fore greatly in the last few years. And I think a big part of that was Hat's Greatest Hits, that Instagram page. Shout out to those guys.
100%.
The cord cap is back and bigger than ever, and even more so because smart drifters who are watching on YouTube would have already seen it on your noggin.
Mm-hmm. But look at that. We are literally dripping in corduroy right now.
Dripping.
That's not even all of them. We got a bloody box down here.
On the drift cord caps, mate. Have we made it?
I'd say so.
I think we've made it.
Say so. So is that on the screen then?
Yeah, you're right.
Look at that. It's nice freshy. And as you can see as I'm wearing it, the brim is adjustable. So one or two drifters might be going like, but Jonesy, how do I win one?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you.
Yeah, we're not selling them. We're not at that stage yet.
No.
We're not dropping merch like bloody bloke in a bar.
No. We're not at Denon's level yet. But what you can do, drifters, and what we didn't do last season because, we're busy, but we are the greatest tipping competition of all time is back this season. And one of these is going to be available every single week for the tipping comp, but it doesn't end there because we have merch coming out of our backside.
We are dripping merch from our backside. Picture that. So the great people at Bearpack Biltong, we can get a couple in there.
Lovely.
They'll play a part in the giveaway because we have a fair bit of stuff, drifters. It's going to be like a prize pack, so it's going to differ from week to week. But let's grab some more stuff.
So I'd say on week 1, you're getting 2 to 3 caps. You're getting 2 to 3 caps on the
For the first
week.
one, yeah, we'll do 2 to 3 caps, and then from there we might just do a bit of a lucky dip.
So what caps are you wondering? So the great people at Gage Roads have joined on board.
Big thanks to Luke Jones and the people at Gage Roads for supplying a stack of merch. They got some cord caps which are bloody brilliant that the drifters will surely appreciate. Some happy socks if you're into that sort of stuff.
If you're a fun business attire guy or girl. Neds have some caps that they've got as well, but they've also got this lovely little 6-pack stubby cooler which you could use on Smoko.
Yep, give me 2 seconds. We've got some more stubby coolers here. I'll grab the little cooler thingy.
Yeah, absolutely. And if, obviously the great people at Bareback Biltong are back. So at the start, we're going to chuck in an original and some smoked chili, but there are other flavours coming. That's why you need to enter each week.
100%. We've got the Ned's cooler here, and I'll tell you what, this is my favourite part of the giveaway.
Oh, no.
Be a 6-pack each week, guys, just so you can celebrate your winnings, even more so with some lovely Gage Roads piss. So big thanks to Ned's, big thanks to Bareback Biltong, big thanks to us, and a big thanks to
Gage
Roads and Matt So's. Bloody brilliant.
100%. So, quick summary. tipping comp every single week. This week it's going to be the Randwick card. Go to our show notes right now to enter, or our link in bio on Instagram. You have the opportunity to win some bareback biltong from the good people at Bareback Biltong.
Yep. Hey, do you know a biltong we hate here?
Hey.
Condom biltong.
Oh,
it's the worst ever.
Flavourless.
Yeah, exactly. Contraceptive biltong is as bad as it gets. We want bareback biltong.
Bareback. That's what we love here.
Hey, do you know what you signed up for?
Yep, play on. 6-pack from the good people at Gage Roads, plus some stubby coolers from Ned's. We have Gage Roads stubby coolers. We have a Gage Roads cord cap.
Key ring, socks.
Oh, socks. Got Ned's gear. And, of course, you got our Corduroy caps. So these are extremely limited edition. Probably won't get made again.
100%. And guys, if you're lucky enough to win the tipping competition, all we ask is if you have any socials, if you feel like it, take a little picky, tag us in it. If you can tag Ned's in it or Gage Roads or anything like that, Bareback Biltong on Instagram or wherever you post your socials. I don't know what you kids do nowadays. That would go a long way to helping us and a long way to helping them.
Well said. And we will get into some horse racing chat shortly. But, hey, we're giving back to you guys, so be patient, please. If you did, I don't even know if this promo code's still going, but hey, give it a go anyway. It's in our link in bio as well. Drifters 20 at Bareback Biltong. If you wanted to get some of their delicious biltong, because it is absolutely sensational.
It's actually so good.
Mate, that smoked chili is might have stole a couple from the Drifters. Okay. Sheesh. So, show notes, link in bio, go there. You'll sort it out, mate. You're smart. Horse racing. What were your thoughts on PVL just slamming his piece on the table yet again with the Sprinters Championship? What's it even called?
Yeah. The championship sprint, maybe? I can't remember.
Champion sprinter or something?
Yeah. So PVL, whoever, sources the furniture in procurement for New South Wales Racing for Big PVL's office has got a full-time job, because the boardroom as well, I'm telling you, every time he goes in there for a meeting, they leave and the table's been cut in half by his massive piece just slamming on the table. So we've got a full-time job just replacing that. And they're looking at it like, do we need like a diamond encrusted table just to prevent PVL from blowing it back?
Well, yeah.
And just obliterating it into pieces with his enormous schlong. What are my thoughts on it? I'm about it. Do you know why?
Why?
Because there's just a lot going on. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's splash and cash for splash and cash's reasons. I'm all for more money being in racing because it's good for the game ultimately. But it's just like I feel like it's been lost in translation. It's like, okay, cool. Well, what's going to be the enticement now? Is there any added enticement?
I'm a sucker for just seeing like the best horses race in the best races. The Golden Eagle doesn't need to be a $10 million race.
It really doesn't.
Like, you could halve the prize money and you get the exact same field. It's restricted to one age, 4-year-olds. Makes no sense. Why that age? I don't get it. I don't get it for that age.
I think two reasons. One, to probably take horses away from the Cantala, which was originally run on the same day. So 4-year-olds going in there with, maybe a pretty good handicap. And I think secondly, to keep the 3-year-olds going, especially the colts, mate. So that they have a reason to keep on racing. So wait for age.
That's probably why we're seeing the big dance then this spring, because that's restricted to 5-year-olds, I believe. So, okay, I can kind of get that, but the prize money I don't understand. It's just so much. And we said this on our Ned segment last week, but race of the year for mine didn't even occur in Australia. And it was Nature Strip absolutely dominating over in Ascot. Could you imagine if we just got the best of the Europeans over here and offered them up some cash to actually come here, like we do with the Cox Plate for the Japanese, the Europeans, whatever, $1 million bonus if they win the right races. let's do the exact same thing, but let's just throw more cash at them and actually incentivize them to get here. Whips are cracking. No bloody excuses for them not doing well.
Mm.
You know, the incentives are high enough because, you know, they actually play for pennies over there.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And when you mentioned it on our Neds thing, I was like, yeah, it's actually such a sound idea. Because you're right, they come over for our classics, apart from like the Golden Slipper because that's for 2-year-olds. But yeah, the incentive's definitely there for them to come over, and those races at their peak are just unbelievable with all the internationals, and it makes it a good punting race because, you know, the prices get jacked up across the field because the form lines are just intersecting from everywhere.
Some of those races at Ascot were ridiculous. There was like 28 horses in a field.
Awesome.
Like crazy.
Awesome.
And it was like still like $8 the field, and you're like, whoa, how do you even look through that thing?
Yeah,
Crazy.
100%. So yeah, I agree. I think they've got so much money. I think there's ways in which they can make it more appealing to the punter, the viewer, and overseas horses.
I agree. But is there any bullets left in the chamber for Racing Victoria? Are they taking a sword to a gunfight here? Because it just seems like there is an endless pool of cash that PVL just keeps slapping on the table. It's like, you know what? Whatever you do, I'm going to triple it.
Yeah.
Because what hit that announcement was basically just a middle finger to their Champions Day. That's all it was. And I thought it was a sound idea by Racing Victoria, but it doesn't have like the impact, and we don't talk about it as much as what the change of the PVL does.
Yeah, no, you got a good point. Yeah, Racing Victoria is getting left behind a little bit. It's still unreal. Derby Day for the purists is the best day, you know, in the year for racing. But I know it's just the commentary's there all the bloody time. But I really, really do hope that the two heads of, you know, Racing Victoria and New South Wales and Racing New South Wales can come together and actually say, okay, cool, what's best for the entire sport? And it's not necessarily the pattern, like, who cares? But, you know, let's work together to create a better industry for everyone. I don't have the answer to that, but yeah, PVL's just blowing him out of the water at the moment. He's taking a shotgun to a fish barrel, just going bang, bang, bang.
Thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this?
What are your thoughts on this? Can you please close your mouth? That's rude because your jaw's on the floor. PVL just dropping jaws left, right, and centre.
In rugby league and in horse racing, he gets shit done. Far out. He's an innovator if nothing else. And as you said, more money in the game. It's what we would like to see. But hey, and they have brought like the minimum prize money for like country races up significantly, which is great. Yeah. But yeah. It's Golden Eagle, 10 million. Please give me a spell. All right, Winx Stakes. Should we actually talk about the opening Group 1 of the season?
We should, mate. What are your thoughts? Should it be a Group 1?
No, I don't think so. There's not as many resuming stays this year, but there's still a few. There's 3 that I can see, like Stockman, Benno, and Jewis, I'd say. But Jewis could potentially stay at that middle distance range, but they're talking Melbourne Cup with her, so let's treat her as a stayer. So you can put a line through those 3 immediately for mine. And then you get... there's like 2 horses that I'm really interested in here. That's Mo'unga and Profondo. And the reason being is, and as I mentioned in our Ned's segment today, was I'm very spooked about horses that are going to be a little flat like Forbidden Love was first up after running on these absolutely sluggy, heavy decks in Sydney.
Yeah, the swamps, the Sydney swamps.
The Sydney swamps. Like Profondo only had 2 runs past prep. One of them was in Melbourne. It didn't handle the Melbourne wave going, so be it. Mo'unga had 2 runs as well, and both of his runs were quite sound. And I don't know. I think they're the ones I want to play around. What are your thoughts on this race?
Should it be a Group 1? I don't know. It's hard to justify something being a Group 1 when I couldn't say any of these horses it's a grand final. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To kick off their spring campaign, great. And there's awesome horses in this race, but you know, it'd be nice for one of them to win it, but they've got bigger fish to fry, so to speak.
Like, would the argument be, say, if Animo, Profondo, is there any other colts in there? But
Mwanga's still got his nuts.
Mwanga. So if any of those three won this race, when they go to the breeding barn, their CV reads 2-time or 3-time group winning colt or, you know, entire or whatever. Is that what the industry is doing? Or I think the breeding experts go like, that was not his grand final and he beat those horses as like in a first up race that, you know, the quality's not there.
I know what you mean. Like, for example, if Animo wins this, it's his fourth Group 1 and it's his only Group 1 at weight for age.
And against outside of his own age range.
Yeah, exactly. At weight for age, So, does that add value to his stud fee? I'm not sure. But I still think it's a great race.
Mm. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but you're right about the autumn and like, do you like Forbidden Love, for example? Like, I was all over her like a rash all autumn, just absolutely checked, like cashed so many checks from Forbidden Love all through the autumn. So she's definitely one of mine, but you know, this isn't a heavy deck on the weekend.
No.
Does that take away a bit of her brilliance? I don't know, but of a lot of these horses, I'd say she's probably the best 1,400 metre horse, which is interesting. Then you've got the 3-year-olds graduating into 4-year-old weight for age open class, Fangirl, Hinged, Mo, Halal, Profondo.
Like long preps. Like Fangirl Hinged 5 runs last prep. Like Halal 4 runs, Animo 5 runs, and his last run. I hate seeing their last run of the prep basically run last and long last. And sure, heavy deck, understand that, but I just feel like they can be a bit flat when they're up first up.
Yeah, fair enough. So you're leaning towards Mwanga or Profondo. Are you a bit nervous about both of them though, because Mwanga had some issues last prep with like temperatures and shit like that, and Profondo obviously was Profondo last prep. What's making you think that they're going to be all good this prep?
I like that they put them away. They didn't have him there for, you know, 4 to 5 runs in the prep. They're like, I think they saw the writing on the wall, especially with Profondo. It's like he was chewing his silly head off. And I just think, you know, they're like, you know what, there's bigger fish to fry here.
Yeah.
I really did like the trials of Profondo. He's probably the way I'm actually leaning.
Yeah.
And 1,400 metres is definitely not his best, but I'd rather him. I think he can definitely win this. And the $14 thereabouts on offer.
Yeah, 13s with Neds at the moment.
Like, yeah, yes, please. I'll take a piece of that, and especially looking at Animo and the way he finished off last prep, and he's not one of mine.
Well, Big Mo is certainly one of mine. Mm-hmm. So I think I think he can win this. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be the best weight for age horse, Australian weight for age horse this spring. For me, Mo.
So you're saying he'll win the Cox Plate?
I think he can, yeah.
Can or will?
I think he can. I'm not saying he will.
Okay, so let me rephrase this question. Will Animo be the highest placing Australian horse in the Cox Plate?
Oof.
Will he beat Zaki? Will he beat Jewis if she goes there? Incentivise if he goes there, which I don't think so.
I think he's got the ability to be better than Jewis over 2,000 metres. So, yes. Zaki, I'm a big fan of Zaki.
I think he's another one that might be a bit flat after those
potentially, but I just Animo for me, I think the transition from him being 3 to 4 does, like, typically you'd think it wouldn't play in their favour because the weights when they're getting to weight for age is obviously not going to be as much in their favour. But I think for him, it's actually going to be the reverse, not because of the extra weight, but I think he's a smart horse. Once he gets to the track, he's on. And I think just with a bit more maturity and a bit more weight, he's got that brilliance, I think. I think he can sit anywhere. I think because he's drawing barrier 1 here, J-Mac he can be responsible for a butchered ride, just like naughty boy Hugh.
Just like the best of us.
Yeah, but
never got on the back of a horse in my life.
But he's the best jockey in Australia, if not the world. So from barrier 1, he's going to have him up in a forward position, which when Anamo's in the first third of the field, that burst of speed over 1,400 meters. I think he's just got it on these. In my humble, so I think he wins this, and I think he wins a lot this prep. So my guy Mo, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So,
but really keen to see how a lot of these go.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting that you think he will be forward. I don't know. I have a feeling he might go back.
No, I think he'll be forward. I think he'll park himself in front of Mo Unga because J-Mac knows if he gets him forward, he'll be in the finish.
Drifter of the week. So you might realise that we haven't got the phone calls going. Well, we will. We might do it this season. We might not. Today we're not doing it. Gaby Doxey, though, is Drifter of the Week this week. So if you haven't seen her work, she does stuff for the mailbag on Fridays, I believe. And then she also has the Mugs show on a Saturday morning.
The Hone In.
The Hone In.
Queensland form.
And she bloody well knows her Queensland form.
Oh, God, yeah.
But yeah, shout out to you, Gabby. Thanks for being Drifter of the Week. She's on Moanga this week.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. I think it's well justified.
Oh God, yeah. We don't need to justify it at all.
So what I'm hearing is you take the trifecta of Moanga, Profondo, and Animo in this race.
If you want Profondo in there, Drifters, go ahead.
Hey, mate, I like a little bit of a roughie, and these early season Group 1s, they can throw up a rough result.
They sure can.
$13 for Profondo. You might never see it again. You might never see it again. Hey, I'll pay to find out. Best bets of the weekend.
Yeah, so there's actually quite a few things I like this weekend.
I've won, so
okay,
you fire away.
So race 9 in Randwick. I'm mostly playing in Sydney this weekend. Drifties. There's a horse paying $26.
Hello.
Stable Mouth is they're a big fan of this girl.
Okay.
Especially the maturity she's made from a 2-year-old to a 3-year-old. And that's number 13, Zoo Gotcha.
Hello.
CS Racing, shout out. She's $26 with Neds at the moment. They actually weren't going to race her in this race originally, but C. Waller has looked at her and been like, she's so good right now that we've got to get her in this race.
Matured?
She's running matured. She's drawn barrier 6. She'll be up on pace, not a back marker in this race. A little bit of inside word for you there. Drifters at that price, have something each way, please. But yeah, I've got a couple others, but what's your best of the day?
My best of the day is in race 5 at Randwick. Showmanship, number 6.
Jeez, I love those silks.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's a class horse, and you're getting $3.80 against. Look, no disrespect to King of Sparta, but I don't think he's any showmanship, and I think they've just got the odds wrong there. Albeit Showmanship hasn't won for 2 years, but this horse has been trialling in Melbourne at jump outs for ages. And he had one run in the Warrnambool Carnival on a heavy 10, and he drifted from about $2 favourite out to about $5.
Yeah, right, okay.
And he still finished off third, and he's finished pretty well. So I think that was a cobweb ride. He's ready here. He got scratched last week when it was a little bit damp. Should be, good 4 deck on the weekend.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's used to that over in Perth.
He's not used to that in Sydney swamps. Nice, mate. I reckon that's a good bet
for me.
I reckon that's a good bet. My best bet's in race 6, and this fella has been very good to me so far this prep. Backed him last 2 starts, and that's number 3, Lord Ardmore. He's flying. He's flying this prep. 2,000 metres is his go. I think he's well weighted here. I reckon the first half of the field could be Chris Waller. Chris Waller thinks finishing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh yeah, the Chris Waller Premier's middle distance handicap.
Effectively, yeah. So yeah, Lord Ardmore for me.
Yeah, lovely. Any
Naughty
other
boy Hugh, some redemption ploys.
Any other plays for the weekend?
Yeah, I don't mind Jamea this weekend in race 7. It's a pretty open race. Bella Nipatina's dual accepted, so she's racing down in Moonee Valley as well. But I don't mind Jamea in that. She might find it a bit too sharp, but we'll see. Aside from that, I do like Niffler as well. Got a shout out to the Harry Potter stuff.
100%.
And that's in race 4 in Randwick. So yeah, I'll have a few bets this weekend. I like a few things.
Lovely. It's more a see and watch for me.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, it takes me a little bit to find my feet.
Yeah, build up a bit of knowledge, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Get the memory bank up and ready. But look, 40 of the best podcasting minutes you'd ever want to hear. But yeah, mate, keen for the spring. I believe there's a Group 1 not next week. Maybe there is. I don't know.
Is Memsy next week?
Might be the week after.
I'm not sure.
Hey, regardless, we'll be here.
We'll be here, guys. Yeah, it's good to be back in the studio. Few upgrades, few sponos. Life doesn't get any better than this.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. So thank you to the good people at Ned's for being our main sponsor of this podcast. So if you are having a bet this weekend, do it with the Ned's. Take it to the Ned's level, but make sure you do it responsibly.
100%.
Please. So we'll see you next week. If you want to win the bucket load of shit that we're giving away.
It's just so much.
Jump on our...
Seriously, sign up.
Seriously,
takes you 2 minutes.
what are you doing? Look at the show notes, link in bio. You know what to do. We'll share it. You'll find it. All the best.
Go, Mo!
You'll miss the top 3.